Hi there. So for today's experiment, we're going to be doing an experiment with pennies. We're going to take some fairly dirty pennies. Let's see. Yeah. And we are going to attempt to remove the rust from them. What we're going to need is some vinegar and salt. We'll mix those in a little bowl. We'll put the pennies in there and let them sit. And then afterwards, we will rinse some to stop the reaction, see what they look like. And then we have some pennies I've already done ahead of time where we did not rinse them, and see what happens after they dry. Okay, so first thing, we are going to get our solution ready. So we take about 1/4 cup vinegar. And a teaspoon of salt. And mix them with plastic. Now, we're using this solution to change metal a little bit, like we're getting the rust off the pennies. So we're not going to want to mix this solution with metal because it could potentially change the look of our metal that we stir it with. So you just stir until the salt's pretty much mixed in. And then we're going to add our pennies. So there they are. And it won't take too long for them to start cleaning. But while they are, we'll talk about pennies and why they rust. So pennies are made of copper, and in the air they react with oxygen, and they form copper oxide on the outside, which is the discoloration that you see on them. So what's happening in the solution is that the weak acid, vinegar, and salt, they're combining, and the vinegar is dissolving the copper oxide. So the copper oxide is going to begin to fall off of the pennies. You can see they're already much brighter. Now what happens with this is the copper oxide ions that fall off, the Fe2+ ions, stay in the solution. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and pull these pennies out. And we can already see they're much shinier than when they went in. So we're going to put these in water and see what happens after that. So that's going to stop the reaction from happening. And then while we're waiting on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little screw and I'm going to put it in this solution. And we're going to see what happens to this new screw from sitting in the solution in just a few minutes. So now I have the pennies in the water, and we take them out, and we can see that they're very shiny. So this is the one I cleaned. This is one that I left out just so we could compare the difference. So they're very clean. The copper oxide, a lot of that has come off. Now, I also spoke about what happens if you clean them and then you don't wash them off. So I went ahead and did that before starting to record the experiment so we could get a good look at exactly what could happen. So these pennies I cleaned, so they were initially shiny like the ones I just showed you, but then I did not dry them. The reaction continued and dried on there. Now, what happened is that we got some blue and green reactions here build up, and it's called patina. And I think these were a really good example because they got pretty green. You can even see it on the paper towel. that it was happening. So, like I said, the copper ions that fell off because we removed the copper oxide remained in the solution that we had here. Now, we were supposed to be using like a steel nut and bolt. I didn't have those, so I just kind of found anything I had to hang pictures or whatever. So that's in the solution now. What we want to see, or should see if we had the bolt, is that it's going to start to discolor what you put in here, because the negative ions in the metal should be attracting the positive copper ions that are left in the solution. So we'll go ahead and check it. I don't really see any change in this one. This is probably because this is not made of iron or steel like it should be. So there's not really any change here. But had we had the right item, you would be able to see a clear line where the metal was before and after, where it picked up those copper ions.